Now, like I said, the course is going to be highly practical, so I want to teach everything by example. Therefore, we're literally going to start programming without even covering Python basics. We're going to cover the basics as we write our first program. Now, the first program that I want to write is going to be a MAC address changer. MAC address stands for Media Access Control. It's a permanent, physical, and unique address assigned to network interfaces by the device manufacturer. So, whether you have a wireless card or a wired or Ethernet card, each one of these network cards come with a specific address that is unique to this card. So there is no two devices in the world that would have the same MAC address, and this address will always be the same to this specific device. Even if you unplug it from your computer, connect it to another computer, then this network device will always have the same address. So you might already know that the IP address is used in the internet to identify computers and communicate between devices on the internet. The MAC address is used within the network to identify devices and transfer data between devices. So each piece of data or packet that is sent within the network contains a source MAC and a destination MAC. Therefore, this packet would flow from the source MAC to the destination MAC. So, because this is a physical unique address to each interface, to each network device, and because it is used to identify devices, then changing it will make you anonymous on the network. Not only that, but the MAC address is often used by filters to prevent or allow devices to connect to networks and do specific tasks on the network. So being able to change your MAC address to another device's MAC address will allow you to impersonate this device and allow you to do things that you might not be able to do. So you'd be able to bypass filters or connect to networks that only specific devices with specific MAC addresses can connect to, and you will also be able to hide your identity. Now, changing the MAC address is very simple. Let me show you how to do that manually, and then we'll see how we can write a program to do that. So first of all, we can use the ifconfig command to list all the interfaces on the current computer. When I say interface, I mean a network card. So right here we have ETH0. This is actually a virtual interface. It's not real. It is created by VirtualBox because we set this computer to use a NAT network. So remember when I said that this computer thinks it is connected to a wired network, and you can see it says wired connected. And all of this is done through a virtual network and a virtual interface in here connected to that network. You can also see the LO, which is a virtual interface created by Linux. And I also have LAN 0, which is an external USB wireless adapter. So you might not have LAN 0. It's okay, you don't really need it unless you want to run some of the attacks that we will do later on against a wireless network. So don't worry about it now, we'll talk more about it later, but it is not mandatory anyway. Now, other than the interfaces, the ifconfig command also lists information about each one of these interfaces. So you can see if this interface is connected to a network, you'll see it has an IP. You can see this one does not have an IP because it is not connected. You can also see the net mask and the broadcast for this network. And you can also see the MAC address of this interface. So right now, the MAC address for ETH0 is the highlighted part right here. Same for ETH0, we have the MAC address in here. Now to change this MAC address, we're going to do ifconfig, followed by the name of the interface that we want to change its MAC address. So if you want to change the MAC address of ETH0, you do ETH0. If you want to change the MAC address of LAN 0, you would do LAN 0. Now in this example, I want to do it for ETH0 because everybody will have ETH0 only people who have a wireless adapter will see LAN 0. So I'm going to do it for ETH0 so that everybody can follow this. Then I'm going to type down to disable this interface. So this is the first step. We're going to disable our interface. I'm going to hit enter, and that's done. If you don't see any errors, that means the command got executed properly. Now that the interface is disabled, we can modify its options. And the option that we want to modify is the ether, which is the MAC address. So I'm going to say ifconfig. Again, put the name of the interface that you want to modify its option, which is ETH0. And we're going to say HW ether. And we're going to specify the new MAC address that we want to use. So you can use any MAC address that you want. And for example, I'm just going to use 001122334455. So make sure it is 12 characters. Make sure you split it using the colon. And that's it. So I'm going to hit enter. And again, we don't see any errors. So that means the command got executed properly. And now all we have to do is enable the interface because we disabled it using this command. So to enable the interface, we're going to do ifconfig interface name, which is ETH0, and I'm going to say up to enable it. So we do down to disable the interface and up to enable it. So I'm going to hit enter. And again, we don't see any errors. So that means the command got executed properly. And the last thing that I'm going to do now is do ifconfig again to see if the MAC address did actually get changed. So I'm going to hit enter. And as you can see now, if we look at the other part of ETH0, you can see that this has been changed to 001122334455. So as you can see, it is very easy to do that. And like I said, this would be useful in so many scenarios. Now, the main point why I'm showing you how to change it manually is because I want you to understand what a MAC address is, how to change it, and then in this section, we're going to write a program that will automatically change the MAC address for us.